Well, the crop progress and condition reports show planting slower than average and condition ratings for winter wheat worse than late November, but not as bad as last spring. U.S. winter wheat, 16% poor to very poor, 44% good to excellent. That compared to 58% at the end of November, 35% last year, the first week of April. Nebraska winter wheat is 30% poor to very poor, just 34% good to excellent. Winter wheat jointing, 44% complete in Kansas, Oklahoma, 68%. Corn planting in Texas up to 37% complete, only 8% emerged, though, compared to 31% average. USDA added 2 new areas to the weekly reports, topsoil moisture condition and subsoil moisture condition. Nationally, topsoil moisture is 5% very short, 18% short, 56% adequate, 21% surplus. Subsoil moisture in the U.S., 5% very short, 18% short, 60% adequate, 17% surplus. Next week, USDA expects to add barley, corn, spring wheat, and oat planting information. Canada blocking U.S. raw poultry, eggs, and live birds from Montana, South Dakota, and Minnesota. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency expanded their restrictions, which block anything poultry other than, quote, fully cooked, canned, commercially sterile meat products. Canada's restrictions are on top of previously announced restrictions for the border states of Washington and Idaho, and from California, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, and Oregon. The restrictions on Montana follow confirmation by the USDA of avian bird flu in a backyard mixed poultry flock in between Great Falls and Billings, Montana. One more Minnesota turkey farm dealing with an outbreak of the bird flu. State officials confirm now a farm in Stearns County. Another farm in Stearns County found the H5N2 strain of avian influenza, making it the 5th commercial turkey grower to be hit with the virus. Farms in Lac-qui-Parle, Nobles, and Polk counties have also confirmed cases. Whenever the virus shows up, the entire flock must be euthanized.
For the first time, Minnesota turkey growers are dealing with an invisible threat.
There's an elevated state of awareness.
A highly contagious and deadly strain of avian influenza is wiping out entire flocks. This week alone, it affected 92,000 turkeys on 2 separate farms, one in Stearns County, the other in Nobles County.
It's not a farm-to-farm spread, so that's a good thing.
State health officials believe the source of the outbreak comes from birds outside the farms.
Wild waterfowl are reservoirs for the virus, but we are also looking into how it is getting placed into the barns where we're finding it.
The key to fighting the virus is to stop its spread.
It's fecal material, so if somebody tracks it in or if a bird flies over, that's how you get it on the site.
That's why the 450 farms that make up the Minnesota Turkey Growers Association are adding to their biosecurity measures. They're limiting traffic on the farms, washing tires and wheel wells, also disinfecting shoes in and out of the barn, all common ways to carry the virus.
I think that's going to be one of those big barriers that's going to help prevent it from getting into a farm.
The biggest impact may be felt on commercial farms, but the reach of avian flu has the potential to touch hobby farms and backyard flocks.
We're asking everybody to be vigilant, and if anybody sees anything odd happening with their birds, if there's mortality or if they're all of a sudden sick, to contact their veterinarian.
Health Department wants to remind everybody this is not a food safety issue. Also, the risk of people getting sick from avian flu is extremely low. The Environmental Protection Agency informed manufacturers of neonicotinoid pesticides that they will not approve most applications for new uses of these chemicals until new bee data has been submitted and pollinator risk assessments are complete. The agency says this is an interim position, and if a significant new pest issue should arise that may be uniquely addressed by neonics, EPA is prepared to consider a special local needs exemption. Meanwhile, a group of U.S. senators has sent a letter to Administrator Gina McCarthy urging her to finish the study of pollinator health before any rulemaking. The senators noted the decline of pollinators requires a comprehensive, science-based investigation. When President Obama announced an historic lifting of some travel and trade bans to Cuba, some lawmakers viewed this as a golden opportunity to expand agriculture. The others want to wait until Cuba changes its human rights policy before doing business. Valley News Live's Washington correspondent Nick Starling has the story.
In October of 1960, the United States imposed an economic and travel embargo to Cuba to push Fidel Castro out of power. Now part of that embargo loosened, making some senators eager to explore the opportunities of more agriculture trade.
Why aren't we doing more with our neighbors to the south?
North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp actually visited Cuba to see the trade opportunities for herself. She says it's time to finally lift the embargo.
Found a real opportunity there in my discussions to really begin to market a lot of North Dakota products.
Like peas, beans, and lentils, all part of the Cuban diet. She says this could boost the American economy with a whole new trading partner just 90 miles away. But Senator Hoeven is not in favor of opening more trade relations until Cuba changes its ways.
They need to, make some substantial changes in terms of human rights, political prisoners, free speech, all those kinds of things before we're normalizing diplomatic relations.
Hoeven says upholding the embargo will force Cuba to transform into a democratic society.
This is the carrot and the stick. The carrot is ag trade. But in these other areas, we need to demand change.
According to the USDA, Cuba imports 80% of its food from other countries. With Cuba being so close to the United States, some senators say that will bring firepower to the ag sector.
Once the Cuban markets open to American agriculture, Northwest Ohio farmers will benefit greatly.
After 50 years where the strategy was to actually have a regime change, when you not only had a regime change, but you had a regime continuation with Castro's brother taking the helm, I think people had to kind of rethink whether that's a strategy for success.
In Washington, Nick Starling, Valley News Live.
Some ag products have been among the few goods allowed to be traded with Cuba, but with very limited products such as corn, chicken, and soy. Congressional approval needed to fully lift the embargo. All right, that's our farm news this morning. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're checking the weather across the U.S. Where is it going to snow? Where's it going to rain? We'll be right back.